Hi friends and family. I would love to tell you about my trip to Salzburg, the Sound of Music city. Um, in that same weekend, I also went to Munich, Germany, but I am going to not talk about that in this video because as much I was just had such a good experience, it has to be its own separate video. So I'm just going to tell you about Salzburg. But please, right after this, if you are still interested and still have time, please watch my Germany video. It is really amazing and oh my gosh, it's just great. But I did go to Salzburg before that, so that's why I made this video first. If you look through my album, you have seen lots of beautiful locations, and a lot of them are scenes from The Sound of Music. Unfortunately, that movie was probably filmed in spring or summer, and I'm here in winter, so a lot of the fountains, statues, anything to any kind of landmark that you would go, oh yeah, that's from The Sound of Music, is covered up. They preserve their statues. They take much pride in their statues and their landmarks and things like that. So they cover them up to protect them from harsh weather, so that way people can enjoy them for years to come. But you can, I think for some of the pictures, I even put in the comments like a link to a movie screenshot, or I put the movie screenshot like in the picture side by side with my picture. Just so you could kind of see, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see, you know, a picture I took versus where it's at in the movie. If you have seen the movie, you know, then it's kind of cool if you're a fan. If not, it's still kind of cool, you know, just to say you were there. So very, very beautiful, beautiful city. You might have also recognized a big yellow building that says Mozart on it. It says something else too in German. I just can't remember what it is because I don't speak German, but that yellow building is Mozart's birth house. His house that he just like lived in when he was, you know, all grown up, is also in Salzburg. It's pink, a very large pink building. I don't know if I have a picture of it in my album or not. I feel like I do, but I can't remember. Anyways, so we got to see his birth house, and that city is just a musical city, of course. So we got to go to this mass. It was in German, but let me tell you the story behind it. So in Austria, whenever they'd have the emperor, empress come, they would say mass. It's a very Catholic country, and they would write music to play at this mass. Like, you know, this fabulous music, like a whole orchestra, you know, a, you know, opera singing choir, you know, just crazy, like the best, you know, for the emperor. And they would, for each emperor, it was a different sheet of music, and when the mass was over, they would burn the sheets of music because they wanted it to be new and original and the best of the best each time, you know, they're just striving for that, you know, better and better and better. So they would burn the sheets of music when they were done with the mass. Well, Mozart was such a genius that he actually attended one of these masses, I think they said when he was 9 years old, and he remembered every single note that was played at that mass. And when he got home, he wrote it all down, and his father was almost thrown in jail because of it, because they thought his father had stolen the sheets of music, you know, and they're supposed to be burned. And then he finally was able to prove that it was his son who had actually wrote them down himself. So we got to go to one of these masses. I think Mozart actually wrote music himself for a mass like this, but so I'm not sure if he wrote, I don't know the terminology, but if he like wrote more than one mass or what. But anyways, we got to go to a Mozart mass, and it was beautiful. And funny story, it's, you know, no matter how good the music group is, you can't charge admission to mass. So, I mean, a lot of the people in there were Catholic and were attending it as Sunday mass, but it's kind of the poor man's concert. So there were a lot of people kind of wandering around in there, a lot of people who would stay for half and then leave, or come in halfway through and sit down, and it was just like really, really weird. The music was fabulous. I mean, they had just string instruments. I mean, violins, cellos, trumpets, French horns, for brass, and a harp, and just a whole opera singers, and of course they had an organ going. It was just very, very fabulous. Very, oh my gosh, it was just and you're in this huge basilica and or this huge cathedral, and it was unreal. But anyways, so because not everyone in there is Catholic, they're just there maybe for the music. At communion, instead of having a communion line, everybody just gets up. It's like a free-for-all. You just go to the altar, and you just go. There's like all these priests lined up at the altar, and you just go. Like a handout almost. A ration or something. There's no line, it's just a mob, and you just kind of make your way to the front. So I guess I have figured out the ancient saying and its origins. You move your feet, you lose your seat. Had to have originated in this cathedral at this mass. We walk back to our pew for communion, and like right as we left, people just filled in our seats. They just stole our pew. Apparently, if you want to receive the Eucharist, you don't deserve to have your seat back. I don't know, but we all, we're so prayerful. We're walking back to our seats, and then we all kind of like open our eyes, and we're like, oh, there's people like getting comfy, and we're just like, oh, okay, like kind of looking at each other like, did we say something? Did we just forget about it? Did we miss something? Is this even our pew? Yeah, it's our pew. And the lady she was like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say anything judgmental about her, but she was in the pew behind us, and she is looking at us, and she is chuckling. She just thinks it's really, really funny. And it was almost, I feel like she played a trick on us. Like, she could have told us, but she didn't. I'm sure that's not true, but it just kind of, it felt mean. It felt tricksy. We were like, okay. So we just stood for the rest of the Mass, and it was awkward. It was just weird. But anyways, yes, we got to go to the Abbey, the convent, cloistered convent, where a lot of The Sound of Music was filmed, Maria's convent. We got to go to the church where the marriage scene happens at the end of the movie. We got to go to, where Maria's teaching the kids how to sing Do, Re, Mi. We got to go to, the little staircase where they're all jumping up. We got to go to a fountain. We got to go lots of locations from that movie, all in the beautiful city of Salzburg. Also, we got to go to the Augustiner, I think it's called, where that's the Salzburg brewery, and they sell liters of beer by the liter. And of course, I cannot drink beer because of its gluten content, so I just went along for the ride. It was a beautiful walk, and I got to see my friends carrying their liters of beer. So there are also pictures from the Hofbrauhaus, which I will mention in my Munich video, in the video after this one, because you see me holding multiple drinks, but I can assure you they're not on mine. So yes, we went to the brewery. There's like 8-year-olds with liters of beer. We're like, okay, cultural differences, all right. So that was kind of weird and funny, but we got to stay in the nicest hostel I think I will ever see in my lifetime. It was like a hotel. It was like not even like a hostel. I was expecting, like what you always hear about a hostel, like dirty, like bring your own blankets, bring your own towels, maybe a co-ed, public bathroom with showers, you just hear like it's really no privacy, you just kind of have to crash there for the night and then just get over it. But no, it was like a hotel. We all had our own rooms, we all had our own beds, each room had its own bathroom, it had a TV, like it was so nice. Definitely not like a hostel, more like a hotel room. So we were all very happy about that. It was freezing cold, but otherwise it was really good, and we just kind of explored the town. I got a bratwurst wrapped in bacon, and it was like filled with cheese, like in the middle. It was so delicious. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I also fulfilled my dream, my other bratwurst dream when I was in Munich, and I will also tell you about that in my next video. But in conclusion, Salzburg was beautiful. Highly recommend it to anybody who's traveling to Europe, especially anybody who's traveling to Austria. Salzburg was beautiful. The city of music, the sound of music, you know, it was great. So that is all I have to say about Salzburg, but please stay tuned for my Germany video. Until next time, bye you guys.